Hello guys and welcome to my highlights from FTRL's round 5 visit to Monza. Currently in the standings we are only 9 points behind Dutch, and there's only 2 more rounds to go including this one, so if we finish 9 points ahead of Dutch in this race then we will take the lead of the championship. So we're just going to go out on our qualifying lap here. The first one of the session, obviously. I'm not going to watch the outlap though, because it's a bit dull, isn't it, really? So yeah, coming through Monza, my initial thoughts weren't great, because it's not been a great track for me. Ascari causes me all sorts of bother, and generally a crash. Have done in the PSGO races, and have done every time I've tried to do it in career mode. So, if you excuse the terrible audio, sort of music in the background, I've only got like 4 songs to choose from, so my bad. But yeah, thankfully Chicken Guy doesn't try to send it up the inside there on the first of our qualifying laps. So we take that chicane quite nicely there. We've got just at the headers, I think it's hammer time or blue flag or something like that, so I don't think we're going to catch up to in this lap. Coming through here, we want to try and cut this corner, but we don't. We take it really hard and that unsettles the entire car through that chicane. Really not great. But we're going to carry on in 4th gear through here, shift up to 5. For this I'm using the setup for Abu Dhabi because I found it's a bit more stable. Maybe I lose a little bit of time, but it's definitely worth it not to just spin out for Ascari every time I try and go around it. So we're going to, blue flag is thankfully going to let us through there on the right, and Oxhawk's put in a 20.7, the former, well, technically the current FTRL champion for Div 1 last year. So he is very quick indeed, and we need to try and see if we can get as close to 20.7 as possible, but as you've seen through that first and second chicane, we didn't do brilliantly, so this isn't going to be an especially quick lap from us, I don't think. So we come up here to cross the line for our first qualifying lap. Yeah, 21.7, so you see that just put us provisionally second, but that is, we are nearly a second off the pace of Oxhawks there, so we're going to carry on here straight again and do a second full qualifying lap on these tyres, because we are starting a full wet race. I don't know if you saw the weather earlier in the pits, but we are going to a full wet race, so it doesn't especially matter if we do 1 or 2 more laps and we should in the qualifying tyres. This time we decided not to click the curb and just go for a smoother exit with our second one. We take that second corner really nicely out of the chicane there, and that's put us a good bit up on our delta. So we are going to look to try and improve this lap here. We're about 6/10 on our delta at the minute. We've got hammer time up ahead, but I don't think we're going to catch him up. In fact, it may give us a little bit of slipstream, which would be nice. I would take a Ascari for them, my most hated track. Or most hated corner in the game, I should say. We're at Monza, of course. Dutch Tricks puts it just ahead of us there in P2, so we're in P3 still. As Crest, one of the new drivers, actually puts in P3, so he's showing some good pace. So best of luck to him for F1 2018. Hammer Time says he's going to move over as we cross this lap, and it's going to be an improvement for us, 21.3. So that's a 4/10 improvement. We're closing in slightly on Oxhawks' time, but as you can see, we're still behind Dutch, so we need to find a few more tenths. And we're going to the last few qualifying laps here. We've skipped on a bit, gone into the pits, come back out again, put on a new set of tyres, and we're ready to go again. So we're going to be looking to maybe just dip under 121 overall. You can see how much time we've gained through that first chicane there. We're nearly 1.5 tenths up now as we go through sector 1. So if we're looking for pole times, obviously we need to set purple sectors. So here we go through sector 1. We do set purple, 2 tenths up on our time and about 1/2 tenth up on the pole. So if we can continue this sort of pace, we will just get provisional pole away from Oxhawks. Go to gear 4 here, take that corner very nicely. We are gaining time all the time. We are nearly 5 tenths up on our best, so we're looking maybe at 20.7, 20.8 here. We've just got to get it, hold it together for Ascari. We go purple again. We're now 2.5 tenths and we've absolutely bowled it. So we're going to try and set another qualifying lap here, moving on there, and you can see that 20.7 would have put us on provisional pole by the narrowest of margins, but we absolutely bottle it. So we're going to have to go again here in the last few seconds of the session. We're going to be maybe a little bit steadier this time, just making sure that we can actually finish the lap and get a good one in. So you can see that our delta is bugged there, one of the glitches of the game, or of the many for F1 online, and that means that we're not going to know how fast we are apart from we get to the sectors. You can see I take that corner very nicely there, maybe lifting off a little bit too much in this middle of the corner, but we do manage to cut that to just the right amount. And you could see there that we were slightly down, probably 20th of a second, something like that. We're a little bit down, so we're going to keep on going here. We're hoping that we're going to gain a little bit of time through sector 2. Also, we took that fairly neatly, and yet we are just over a tenth up on our best time. We take a Scary, much better there. Get a little bit on the curve, but that's not going to harm us too much. Dutch Tricks there puts in a brilliant time, 20.4. I don't think we can quite match that, but we're going to see what we can do going through Parabolica. We've got Lennon who's popped it just ahead of us, so we're going to see if we can get above him. We've got Crest behind us. So, where is this going to put us? 21 dead, so not... It was pretty decent, 21-0 there, puts us in P3. We've got Aaron just behind us, very slightly. We couldn't quite get under the 121, which is what we were looking for, but P3 at the end of the day round Monza's pretty good for me. So you can see here, full wets, we're going to make sure we put enough fuel in the car, park firmly so we can't change any of the setups. Here we go. So 5 red lights around Monza. And we're off, and it seems like we've got a pretty decent launch there, but we're struggling a little bit on wheel spin through the second phase of launch, and Aaron on our left has got an absolutely lightning start there. So he's going to try and send it around the outside. We're going to try and hold the inside line. We give all the room we can. He just about gets his car there and just squeezes a little bit, but that's perfectly fair. He had the racing line. And that means that we've got a poor exit, and Lennon has also got us. So we find ourselves down in 4th instead of 2nd. You can see there that Dutch Tricks has lagged out before the session has started, so our title rival is gone. Lennon there just goes into the back of Aaron. I think he misjudged his braking point a little bit, or maybe a bit of lag between me and his car, but either or, he's off, so that means we're now into P3. So as it stands, we would possibly take the lead of the championship. I'm not too sure about the other cars in the minute, but with Dutch out of the way, that means that we're the only sort of person still running for the championship in the race, really. Moving on here to lap 3, we've got close up to Aaron, as you can see. We're really liking these wet conditions at the minute. We're going to see what we can do through this corner. Really take it nice and steady, because we don't want Aaron and me have a little bit of collision. Aaron very nicely lets us go there, because you could see that I was a little bit faster, so all that would happen is I'd try and overtake and then we'd probably have a huge crash. So that's nice to see. We're now going to chase down Ox. We've actually set the fastest lap of the race there, so in the dry he was nearly a second faster than me, but in the wet you can see that if anything I've got a little bit of pace on Ox. So we're going to pile the pressure on, drive as fast as we possibly can, and see if we can't unsettle him a little bit, push him to go maybe outside his limits, because this track in the wet can be pretty treacherous through some of the chicanes. See there, we're still going purple. Just about to that corner right, and we're going to carry on here. See how much we can close on our Ox. I think this is pretty much our fastest lap of the race, so well, in the wet. It dries up a little bit towards the end, but this is a pretty decent lap from us. So you can see that Ox is about 1.5–2 seconds up the road maybe, so we're going to close down. If you can keep an eye on how far away that white dot is from our yellow one, you've got to see if we can close up or not throughout the rest of this. Sorry if you heard a little jump there, my headset decided to run out of battery mid-commentary, which, you know, not brilliant. But we can see we get a good exit out of the sky, and we are gaining on Ox, and we are gaining time on Aaron behind us as well, so we're having a good lap so far. Yeah, I've left this lap here just so you can see the conditions that we're racing at the minute. It's pretty tricky. We're going into Rich there to see if we can get a bit more time, 33.1, so that's 5 tenths faster than our current best, and we are 1.5 seconds behind Oxox as it stands. You can see moving on a couple of laps later that we are gaining it to Oxox considerably now. Going for a Scary, one of the trickiest corners on the game in my opinion. We take it nice and cautiously, don't want to cause anything, and you can see up ahead Oxhox is trying to take a little bit of speed through there, a little bit more than he needed to, and he's crashed out. So that means that we are, for the first time in a proper FTRL league race, in the hunt for the win. Skip on here to lap 10, 4 laps later. You can see we've got the strategy call from good old Jeff there to go onto the intermediate tyres. You can see that the water on tap track has subsided slightly since the last few laps, so we're going to come in here, try not to get a stop go penalty. We just about hold it there. I mean, you saw by the other video I did the other day, we get constant stop go penalties. It's a real problem. So you're going to come in here, come on then, Toro Rosso pit crew, what have you got? 2.8, meh, it's okay. So that means that we are going to stay on, well, in first place because we get held up. You can see that, that's Ollie P on full wet tyres still. We're going to try and come to our outside, but we've really got to try and hold this position. We can't lose any time to Aaron behind. So we're going to go as far as right as possible. We're going to try and use our intermediate tyres to get a better exit, and you can see that we've just about done that. So we're going to hang on to first place, which means that we are not going to lose much time to Aaron, and we can just continue to push on now for the remainder of the race really. So we're going to lean through the corners now just to try and save a bit of fuel, but also it makes the car a bit more stable I find. So there you go, 32.2 there. Aaron beats it to 31.8, so we're losing a little bit of time to Aaron at the minute. He prefers his intermediate conditions. But the next few laps on we've been going faster and faster. 31.3, we're now 3.9 seconds ahead of Aaron. Cutting on to lap 17, we can set the fastest lap again. You can see that we've gained a little bit of time on Aaron now. We are 4.6, 4.5, so that's good. You can see going on to the last few laps now, we do set our personal fastest lap of the race, but Oxhox is going faster on a new set of inters. Lap 25, so we've only got 2 more laps to hold on. And here we go, onto the final lap of the race. You can see how much time we've gained on Aaron with that white dot there. He's barely in view anymore. We've gone really slowly through that lap there. We're a second down on our best. We really don't want to mess this up. You can see we're 7.6 ahead of Aaron now, and you can just see how cautious we're taking these final few corners. We don't want to mess this up. We've been in the lead since lap 6, so we've just been trying to avoid any mistakes. You can see our tyres are still good, 62%. And this, if we manage to hold it together for these last few laps, corners, this will be our first ever FTRL league race win. We've had one in a special event that you saw in another video, and we've had one in a pre-season event, but we've never had a proper full-on FTRL league race win. As I said, and if we win this, that'll put us clear at the top of the standings going into Monaco next week for the finale. So it's very important that we manage to hold this first position, and this is the corner. Ascari, can we just keep it together through here? You can see I've pretty much taken all the pace off. I just don't trust myself, to be perfectly honest. Really don't. I'm going to go in Rich now, just use the remaining bit of fuel, just to see if we can get a little bit more time, but it doesn't matter. We've also avoided penalties this race as well, so we've been driving very carefully. We've been driving very well. It's probably the best race I've driven. And here we go. We are going to take the checkered flag for the first time. So hopefully you enjoyed that race, and you will